Yeah, welcome to the last 30 minutes of this amazing event, and welcome to Dynamics 365 for Retail. So just for information, I found that picture when I typed Istanbul into the internet. So for me, it's a perfect retailer. So it's a great assortment planning, it's a great product presentation, stock availability, it's everything there. So maybe now we should look for the customers. So I'm Hartmut. I'm the retail director for EMEA, Europe, Middle East. Thank you for having me here. And Africa for Microsoft Business Solutions. I've been in that industry now in retail 30 years. I've been with Microsoft for 3 years. Prior to Microsoft, I worked for 15 years in the SAP environment, so a little bit about my background. So I spent almost my entire career as a retailer in consumer products. So for today, these 30 minutes, I think it should be, worth talking about the retail market and the consumer expectation, to give you a little bit, information, food for thought. Then I would love to talk about the most important part in retail, which is actually supply chain planning, and other calls mild omni-channel, we call it unified channel. So it's actually the entire process. So it's planning, buying, moving, selling. So this is the main part. Then a little bit, I have a 3 minutes video to give you a look and feel of our solution. At the end of the 30 minutes, I would like to talk a little bit about digital transformation and, of course, customers, verticals, and references. So let me start with, a couple of minutes about what's going on in retail. As we all know, retail is transforming. From the anonymous, we know in the past we called them consumers, and now I think what we need to do is, to convert these kind of anonymous consumers into known customers. And this is what it is actually today. It's all about, using the massive sales channels, data, information we can gather from social media, etc., to deliver a personal experience for our customers. So, and this sounds easy. From my perspective, because you can buy everything, an e-commerce solution, an ERP solution, a CRM solution, everything on technology level. But it's actually, for me, the magic word, and that is actually to have all these, processes and technology seamlessly integrated. Let's have a look at customer experience, and give you a couple of statistics. The light green is about usage of internet and social media. So, and about 2/3 of all internet users are now active on social media, and 68%, 2/3 of the internet users trust the consumer opinions on posted online. So some retailers would regard this as a burden. I think we should regard this as a little bit as an advantage, and we really make the most of it and really try to really achieve advantages for our business. The dark green numbers, it's about buying experience, and the last one, it's a habit. So 70% of the buying experience is based on customers feel treated. So as we all know, predicted by Gartner, a couple of others, by 2020, the buying experience, the customer experience, will even overcome price. And the last number, these 51%, so I think it's absolutely worth knowing that 51%, and for all of us working with brick and mortar stores, 51% of showroomers ordering went out of our showroom and will afterwards buy online. And why? Because very often, as we all know, to avoid these ill-informed salespeople. And I think this is very, very important for all of us retailers, to be aware of these numbers. If you talk to companies, to the CEOs, 80%, and this is a huge mismatch, 80% of CEOs of company think they deliver a superior buying and a sales experience, but only 8% of their customers agree. Imagine that. Huge mismatch in terms of perception, reality and theory. So This is a slide. It's not from Microsoft. It's from Gartner, one of the leading analysts, as we all know. And this Gartner slide has actually 3 levels. The level at the bottom, this is the level where we talk about IT solutions from financials to HR, etc. And Gartner says, okay, this is important, but not with really competitive value. Then we have these other 2 levels in the middle where we talk supply chain management, everything about transportation, buying, planning, etc. This is, of course, it's foundational, but with regarding make a difference to our competitors, still limited. And of course the 3rd level, this is the level really makes a difference, where we are innovative, where we differentiate ourselves as a retailer from a competitor. This is actually everything towards the customer. It's about marketing, it's about sales, it's about commerce, it's about customer care. So, and another, I think, very important point is here on the left hand, look at this arrow. This is the system change velocity. As we all know, we love if we, for example, have a very robust, reliable financials and human resource solution implemented, even sometimes for many years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, no problem at all. The higher we get, if we get to the level where it really makes a difference, where we really differentiate ourselves from our competitors, there the lifetime of the solutions, even we can call it in months, not in years. So, and even as we speak, our partners and other vendors, they invent and develop really new, trendy, sometimes even sexy solutions in order towards the customer and differentiate yourself from our competitors. So I would, of course, focus on these 2 parts. And there is the next, I think, very important part is to take into account the customer journey, past and, of course, today. In the past, what we've done was actually a couple of steps. As a retailer, if we work with brick and mortar stores, we had a catalog, probably a little bit advertising, brand management, etc. But this actually all done. Today, as we all know, this has changed dramatically. Lots of different steps, from awareness, consideration, evaluation, social media, as I said, mobile, word of mouth, of course. Still, you can get information from each and everywhere, internet, even if you sit here in the audience, you can search products. So, and then, of course, if you buy, you can buy online, you can buy in your brick and mortar store, you can buy e-commerce, etc., etc. So post and post-purchase and relationship management, lots of different steps, lots of different technology, and of course expectation from us to be treated as the customer and not as an anonymous consumer. Important and worth knowing. So the first, the sales step, actually 67% of the consumers are through the entire buying process because they approach it the first time. I think this is worth knowing. It has changed dramatically. And another part is 68% of the consumers are willing to pay more for a better buying experience. Again, it's in future even more not about price in retail, but it's about service, and it's about a buying experience. I would like to give you an example. It's a true story from a couple of weeks ago. So our youngest daughter, on her wish list birthday was she's a student, a printer. So this printer, her sister has the same one. She said, "Mom and Dad, I would love to have a Samsung M2026W." And we said, "Great, this is excellent." So we approached an electronics store. I saw on the corner lots of all these nice printers, approached the sales guy and said to the sales guy, "Lucky man, I am 100% through the pre-sales process." He had no clue what I'm talking about, but smiled, was happy, etc. And I said, "Look, the corner right there, they've got lots of printers." So we went there. Then, unfortunately, he said, "Look, there's a lot of M2026 printers, but without a W. But this W, this is actually the wireless LAN functionality." I said, you know what? So I need a wireless LAN printer. So, but out of stock. So I said, "No problem at all. So why don't you check the store availability in other stores?" He said, unfortunately, I can't do that. It's not possible with our system. I said, okay, no problem. Why don't you check availability in your distribution center? He did it, so we went other corner, desktop, he checked availability DC. Yes, great, we've got availability in the DC. I said, yeah, wow. Then please do me the favor, ship it directly to my private address. He said, no, it's actually not possible. I can only, deliver this to our store, and you need to come back in 5 days. I think it's not possible because it was on the Saturday. I need the printer on a Tuesday. So this has become, a little bit a mess. And then I said, why don't we check availability on e-commerce? He said, this is a great idea. He checked availability on e-commerce. There was 5 or a couple of even more there. And I said, okay, no problem. Then let's make an order, ship it directly to my private address. He said, no, it's not possible because I'm not allowed. Our e-commerce is a separate legal entity and not allowed in order to do that. And just by the way, I know that for a secure time frame, there's an extra fee of 25 whatever euro. This was always a third from the entire printer. So this, these challenges. So. And no integration between all these different challenges, no service offerings, etc., etc. So we went out around the corner, bought the printer in another store. And this leads me, to what are the challenges in omnichannel and operation. So it's not enough. And this, should be a little bit the example. It's not enough just to buy an e-commerce solution, because underneath you need, of course, the appropriate supply chain processes. So for us, it's still these 4 points in retail. It's, of course, always and still the dependencies on these traditional supply chain. If you have an e-commerce, even if you have an e-commerce solution implemented, if you have a traditional supply chain, you're not able, to deliver what I call superior buying experience. So disconnected IT systems, very often poor inventory visibility. As I said, we're not able, to check availability and forecasting. By the way, to have, from the printer without wireless LAN more than 10 on stock, but nothing from the new one, it's quite disappointing and weak. So poor cross-functionality collaboration. So there was even a competition between the e-commerce entity and the brick and mortar, And very often we can see that. And of course, at the end of the day, it's lack of omnichannel strategy. It's lack of everything in order for processes, buy in store, ship to consumer, etc. And these are, to finish off, to talking about supply chain processes, these are the omnichannel retailer priorities. This is a survey done by Accenture. So and it's exactly the story. So number 1 is buy online, pick up in store. Number 2 is buy in store, ship to customer from a distribution center or elsewhere. Of course, real-time inventory information, and the last one, buy online, ship from store. So I would have been satisfied with just one of these, but for them, not possible. So, and this is, I won't be disrespectful, but this is actually the situation in retail. I call that the plaster slide, because everybody has, of course, a history. So we've been in retail now for, as a company, sometimes 30, 50, sometimes even 100 years. And our, the internet has grown gradually. So very often it's, one solution after the other. But this situation and very often causes these kind of challenges in retail. So now going to the Microsoft product portfolio, I love the vision and strategy of Satya Nadella to say just the first part. Microsoft is actually the productivity and platform company, and every word counts, productivity and platform company for cloud and mobile. So for us, what does that mean? I'm very proud that we know Microsoft, with all our products, to actually think and talk about 3 pillars, which is the productivity suite, Office 365, which is the platform suite, everything on technology, from Azure to SQL Server, etc., etc. But a vital and embedded part has become Dynamics 365 business applications. So, and for us in retail, so we need these kind of connected solutions in order to empower people throughout the entire shopping experience. The blue ones, the light blue, this is of course everything regarding planning, regarding forecasting, etc., with all these nice tools from Microsoft, from Internet of Things, Cortana, Analytics, etc. The right one, the dark blue, this is all about these processes I've just talked about, having the right processes, and the middle part. And I think this is a very important part for, in particular, brick and mortar stores, is to have a modern store experience. Working, we have seen that already today with heat mapping, etc. But from my perspective, and these are the 51% you remember my first slides, to empower the poor people on the sales floor to do a better job, to have a buying experience of our customers, to enable them to do cross-selling, etc., etc. And this is, by the way, what I actually expect from a modern retailer. So what we did, and this is for retail important, we merged CRM and ERP. It's not just two systems, but it has become one, Dynamics 365. We talk about end-to-end processes, even ending in services, sometimes very important for retailers as well. And now we've got everything from sales, customer service, operations, marketing, a very sophisticated marketing solution with Adobe, I love that, and field service. So in a nutshell, or to sum it up, so this is actually the product suite from Microsoft, the light blue, the Dynamics 365, and in particular for operations. This is, and by the way, developed for, in particular, retailers and manufacturers. It's not an add-on, etc. This is a development for retail. And of course, the left, the dark purple, this is everything about the productivity suite. Underneath, we've got technology. We shouldn't underestimate that. Technology, you can use our software on each and every device, whether it's cloud, whether it's mobile. And I love the strategy regarding working with our partners. Remember the Gartner slide. If it's important to work on the third level, if it's that level, what could make the difference? But if that level requires maybe, to get every month, every year, new sales channels implemented, new applications implemented, then you are dependent on a vendor who is actually that innovative. And we, Microsoft, and this is the light purple one, we work with our partners, with our ISV partners and other partners, bringing all these new technologies in time, in market, into our product. And everybody works on this is the actually the security of it's the common data model. So all these products, whether it's from Microsoft, the productivity suite, from Microsoft, the business apps, but from the ISV partners as well, they work on a common data model. So this plaster slide has become, a vision would be to get rid of the plasters, and this is what I can promise you. Microsoft Dynamics 365 for retail consists of everything, all processes we need, but on all channels and on all devices, and a point-of-sale solution as well. So Microsoft, as far as I know, we are the only company on the planet having an embedded, not integrated, an embedded, pure Microsoft Dynamics 365 mobile point-of-sale solution. So I skipped the productivity, just a couple of words on cloud and on-premise. I think for retail, it's not easy to have a pure cloud environment, because if we talk stores, we talk store servers, having them on premise, but it's your decision. You put the controller wherever you want to use the same solution, Dynamics 365 operations, either purely on cloud or purely on premise without any connection to the internet, or in between, as you want, your choice. If you want to capitalize on data center and all these scalability from Microsoft, feel free. If you want to do this on premise, your choice. So digital transformation, our strategy is, of course, this is the left one, to have all our applications mobile, give your customers what and wherever they want, even sitting here in the audience, buying and or gathering information. The right one is everything, tools and functionality to anticipate trends, social media, Internet of Things, Cortana, Analytics, etc. But from my perspective, very important for the future, in order to achieve that target to deliver buying experience, are our brick and mortar sales floor and the people. So a screenshot. We love working with workplaces and dashboards, and of course, not only having a dashboard, and this is what you can see here with Microsoft Dynamics functionality, but Power BI, etc., everything embedded. And if we talk about productivity, what actually counts? Productivity. What is productivity? For me, productivity is how many clicks do a poor user need in order to get into an information. This is what counts. This is where we are proud of. So we are proud of, this is the latest Nucleus research to be in the leaders quadrant, but not only on functionality, but on usability as well. And the mixture between functionality and usability, for me, it's productivity. So this is our point of sale solution, a screenshot. And I would like to show you it's about 3 minutes, a video explaining everything about the beauty of having an implemented, embedded mobile point of sale.
Modern retailing is more about a great customer experience than ever before. Microsoft Dynamics AX provides a truly modern point-of-sale capability to help manage your stores more effectively, maximizing the time your store staff can spend with customers. Let's see how Microsoft Dynamics helps Fabricam, a fashion retailer, to achieve a superior customer experience. Alex is a sales advisor at the Houston store. On arrival this morning, he signs into the Dynamics AX modern point of sale, opens a new shift, chooses a cash draw, and declares the starting cash float. His first customer of the day arrives at the till. After greeting the customer, Alex begins the transaction by adding the pocket watch the customer has chosen. He then uses the free text search to add the next item, a ring. Alex then searches the database and locates the customer, Karen Berg, and adds her details to the transaction. Karen pays with her credit card and the sale is complete. Microsoft Dynamics AX enables retailers to manage stock counting at designated stores. Let's look at how Emma, a Fabricam stock planner at head office, allocates a count to the Houston store. Using the Dynamics AX inventory management module, she creates a count document. She then adds the product she'd like counting and assigns it to the Houston store. The document is now immediately available at the point of sale in the store. Back in the Houston store, let's watch how Microsoft Dynamics AX helps Alex to give great service to Greg, a new customer. Greg is buying a suit. Using his tablet whilst helping Greg, Alex creates a new account for him. He enters Greg's details, including his mailing preferences. Next, Alex helps Greg to choose some new shoes. He browses to the men's shoes category in the product catalog. Alex uses the compare function to display the 3 pairs of shoes that Greg has tried on in the store already. Greg decides to go ahead and purchase the leather tie shoes, and Alex adds them to the transaction, along with the suit. Greg pays cash to complete the transaction, and an email receipt is generated and sent to Greg. Later that day, Alex sees the stock count document created by Emma. He opens the document from his tablet and performs the count on the requested items. He then saves the document and the central database is updated automatically. Finally, Alex uses the modern point of sale to declare tenders from his drawer and commit them to the database. Once completed, Alex closes his shift and is ready to finish his day in store. This brings us to the end of a successful day for Fabricam. We've seen how Microsoft Dynamics AX provides a modern point-of-sale experience for both customers and staff, remote stock count control, and a seamless customer experience to maximize both revenue and customer satisfaction.
So on each and every device, even on an iPad, Apple phone, that works, and I'm so proud of have this offering for my customers. So at the end, to sum it up, what we need to do is to combine these two worlds of remote sales, where we've got actually everything regarding data, buyer history. We can extend our assortment together with the brick and mortar store, where we have this try on, try out, face-to-face, in-store behavior, etc., etc. And I think for me, the beauty is to bring these two worlds together and leveraging each other, and not the 51%, to let our customers go and buy online, but elsewhere from a competitor. So we've got nice quotes from Forbes. The last 3 minutes, but even more if you want, I would love to talk about the verticals, and the last 2 slides are references and customers. Of course, retail is not retail. We've got a common denominator, which is the process. We've got a common denominator that, service in future will count. But of course, we have from furniture to do-it-yourself, to grocery, to fashion, to what else, verticals requiring not only added functionality, like a fashion retailer, for example, always talking about color, items, and size, but we talk about people being able to implement this technology, being able to talk your business language as a retailer, for example, for fashion. And I would like to tell you that we've got great examples for each and every of these verticals, whether it's department stores, customers, and, for example, performance and scalability, working with the first one, 2.5 million SKUs. We've conducted performance tests with 4 million SKUs. We've got fashion, shoes, not even retail, but not only retail, but manufacturing too. We've got grocery, pharmacy, optic home, entertainment, electronics, etc. The last one I love, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Prada. I try to manage to get a little bit extra discount. They got a lot. Of course, food, spare part, do-it-yourself, etc. And at the end, the number 11 and number 12. And if you want, we provide you all these names. These are, some real nice recent wins from Microsoft in retail, really famous names. Sometimes famous names, but sometimes really big customers. The orange one, the amber one. This is one of the biggest sanitarian wholesaler with 30,000 users. 30,000 users, thereof 15,000 concurrent. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. These numbers, a little bit to show off. 380,000 dynamic customers and Dynamics 365. This is AX and CRM together. For me, the main message is that we've got lots of business knowledge. Our partners have got lots of business acumen, and in your retail vertical as well. So, couple of seconds left, but thank you very much for your attention. So I'm, of course, here, not of course, but I'm here available. If you have any questions, feel free. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. I think I come down. I think this is better.